Electrochemical cells, the electrolytic cell. I'm Mr. B. An electrolytic cell has its own power supply. The electrolytic cell uses electricity to drive a non-spontaneous oxidation-reduction reaction. The external power source, the battery, may also be indicated by 4 vertical lines. The battery represents a voltaic cell, where the negative pulse on the battery represents the anode. In an electrolytic cell, the process of electrolysis will occur. By definition, electrolysis is a process by which an electric current is passed through a substance to effect a chemical change. The chemical change is one in which the substance loses or gains electrons through oxidation or reduction. One such reaction is the formation of sodium metal and chlorine gas from molten sodium chloride. In the battery, the anode is the site of oxidation, so electrons are liberated from the negative post. The electrons will travel by wire until they reach an electrode called the cathode. Since the cathode is connected to the negative pulse of the battery, it is also assigned a negative charge. And since the anode is connected to the positive pulse of the battery, it is assigned a positive charge. Remember, in a voltaic cell, the cathode is assigned a positive charge, and the anode is assigned a negative charge. Since a battery is a voltaic cell, the cathode is positively charged and the anode is negatively charged. In an electrolytic cell, the charges are reversed. Red cat implies that reduction occurs at the cathode, and indeed sodium ions are reduced to sodium metal at the cathode. Remember, the electrons required to reduce the sodium cation at the cathode are actually drawn from the anode of the battery. Anox implies that oxidation occurs at the anode, and indeed chloride ions are oxidized to chlorine gas at the anode. The electrons released when chloride ions undergo oxidation are actually attracted to the positive anode and recycled through the battery. The anode is the site of oxidation. In this case, 2Cl- is oxidized to Cl2, 0. The poisonous chlorine gas can be collected in a container. Chlorine gas is toxic and has been used as a weapon of war in the past. But no matter which type of electrochemical cell, the voltaic cell or the electrolytic cell, oxidation will always occur at the anode, and reduction will always occur at the cathode. This animation illustrates the overall process, where at the cathode, sodium ions are reduced to form sodium metal. And at the anode, chloride ions are oxidized to form chlorine gas. In summary, an electrolytic cell uses electricity to force a non-spontaneous reaction to occur. An electrolytic cell has an external power supply. The external power supply could be a battery or voltaic cell. The anode in an electrolytic cell is positively charged and the cathode is negatively charged. The electrolytic cell contains no salt bridge, and an electrolytic cell can be used to force a non-spontaneous process to occur in substances that are in the molten or aqueous state. This concludes my lesson on Electrochemical cells, the electrolytic cell. I'm Mr. B.